made them enemies.
One more word out of you and I swear.
But now, something stronger than fate
Are you okay?
is bringing on a sudden change of heart.
Spike and I are getting married.
What? An all-new Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Hello and welcome to this week's edition of Slade, the Buffyverse Revisited. I'm one of your hosts. I'm Jeremy.
I'm your other host, James, and I think it's important that we all remember that theorizing that one could time travel within his own lifetime, Dr. Sam Beckett stepped into the quantum leap accelerator and vanished. He woke to find himself trapped in the past, facing mirror images that were not his own, and driven by an unknown force to change history for the better. His only guide on this journey is Al, an observer from his own time who appears in the form of a hologram that only Sam can see and hear. And so Dr. Beckett finds himself leaping from life to life, striving to put right what once went wrong, and hoping each time that his next leap will be the leap home.
Get it, never is.
Dr. Sam Beckett never returned home.
No, his final leap, instead of being like the leap home, he leapt into a cockroach, which was swiftly killed.
I was going to say he leapt into Steve Irwin's body right before the stingray hit, and there was just nothing he could do about it.
Wow, too soon? Too soon?
Is it, though?
No, it's not.
No.
Anyway, hello, everyone. It's good to be back after last week's little hiatus in our Q&A episode we posted up. This week, we'll be getting back to normal. We'll be jumping into Buffy, Season 4, Episode 9, Something Blue.
Yes.
As opposed to Something Red.
Right, as opposed to Something Red. Yes.
Yep. So, James, how are you? What's going on? What's new?
I'm all right. Nothing really new. I don't know. It's not really showing up on camera, thank goodness. But I had a glasses kerfuffle, and I broke my glasses.
Okay.
It kind of looks like just a glare on the.
I don't see anything.
But yeah, there is. They are. I have ascended to my final nerd form. There's tape on my glasses.
Oh, okay. Well, you still need the pocket protector.
I do still need the pocket protector, but
and you will have to your the ultimate form of nerd built in a laboratory from parts of lesser nerds.
From parts of lesser nerds, yes. Yeah. But hopefully by the next time we record, I will have my new glasses. So
fabulous, because I won't stand for this for too long to have to look at that, dude.
So I haven't gotten new glasses in like 6 years. Okay.
Okay.
So every day since being at the eye doctor and like, because they do the like what's better or one or two, and then when it's all
they give you like 1 millisecond to ansur.
Right.
It's like, can you let me fucking marinate a little bit?
Right. Like I need to like pretend I'm a crock pot and just put it in and leave me alone.
Let me fucking simmer a little bit. I need to fucking decide. But they're like, one or two.
Right. And then you're like, can I see one again? And they're like, fine.
Yeah, you hear them. They're like, fuck. I mean, yes.
Jesus. So, and then of course at the end, like they've got it all together and they're like, how's this? And they have you read the chart again. After seeing that, like, like every day since not having that new prescription, I've been like, fuck this.
Yeah. What am I doing? What am I doing with my life with these 6-year-old glasses?
Right. Like I just can't wait for my new glasses to come in. And money's a little bit better 6 years later. I might have sprung for the transitions. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
The only thing I don't like about the transitions is, for me, because there's a term for it and I can't remember what she told me, but I'm extremely light sensitive. Mm-hmm. So whenever I'm outdoors, like I have to have sunglasses, and The only thing I don't like about the transitions is that they don't get dark enough.
Oh,
Yeah.
there's and I don't know because I've never had them, but there were two options for the transitions. There was, and the second one was like a a darker version, I guess you would say.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see. We'll see. Because I'm kind of like you. I'm even like indoors if the light's too harsh.
Oh yeah.
So that's why I went with the better, quote unquote, better of the two options.
It's our vampirism, I think.
It is the vampirism, yes.
Yeah.
Also, my new lenses will be progressives because I've officially reached old man age and I can't see far away or up close. So,
okay, this is the problem. I wear glasses too, as everyone probably knows, but I don't wear them anymore during the show or when I'm at the computer because mine are. I guess I'm nearsighted. I guess, yeah.
mm-hmm.
And so my glasses are for further away than a couple of feet and then beyond. But if it's like 2 feet or less to me, I can't fucking see. Like it makes it all blurry. And so, yeah, I can't seem to win in that regard. So
that's how my eyesight has gotten. Like right now, I'm far enough away from the computer monitors that I can see them fine. Because when I first got my glasses, they were for nearsightedness. I couldn't see far away. However, picking up my phone and like looking at it right now, it's blurry. Like I would have to take my glasses off.
Well, that's what I have to do constantly. If I have when I have my glasses on, if I look at my phone or my watch or anything, like I have to flip my glasses up, or if I'm reading the label on something at a store, I'm like, fuck, and I can't win. So
yep, same with me. That's why I went with the progressives. So
yeah.
But anyway.
Alrighty, well, we've talked a lot about eye health.
Eye health is very important, people. Let me tell you, I cannot wear contacts anymore because I was such a piss poor contact wearer in my younger days that now my left eye has a literal crater in it. It's off to the side, thankfully, like in the periph, so it's not directly affecting my eyesight, but I can't wear contacts anymore because of it.
Well, I hope that taught you a valuable lesson, James.
It did. If 43-year-old James could go back and talk to 20 some odd year old James wearing contacts for 18 days in a row without taking them out, he would be like, you need to take those out, motherfucker, because you're gonna fuck your shit up.
He's like, are you fucking stupid? And you'd be like, what?
And
you chest bump him, and it would become a thing.
It would become a thing. I would probably bro out hardcore with my younger self. We'd go get drinks.
Yeah. Then he'd fuck you up though, because he's much younger.
Right.
Yeah.
I would drink myself under the table.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Well, why don't we go ahead?
I was gonna say, would you try and have sex with your younger self?
Pass.
Oh, okay. Never mind then.
Okay, no, we need to know more. We're gonna need to know more. On behalf of the fans, I'm gonna need to know more.
I'm just kidding. It's a joke. Anyway, something blue.
Yeah, why don't you sizzle us up some of these delicious dates and deets, James?
I sure will. First of all, let's talk about
sizzle them.
Yeah, like when you go to Chili's, or is it TGI Fridays?
Yeah, and they bring you the plate of sizzling
Applebee's, and they bring you like the sizzling fajita stuff. Yeah. First of all, let's talk about the double meaning of this week's episode, Something Blue. Of course, a reference to the old wedding adage, something new, something old, something borrowed, something blue. But also, a reference to Willow's state of mind throughout the episode. She's feeling very blue, very down.
Now, see, I thought it was a reference to Papa Smurf's dick.
It could be, or possibly Smurfette's vagina.
Yeah. See, I always thought Smurfette was that she had transitioned, that she was a former male who became a female.
That doesn't mean she doesn't have a vagina.
Well, I mean, I'm just assuming in Smurf Village they didn't have a proper surgeon to complete the process.
So you don't think she was post-op?
No, because Gargamel, he would make sure that she would have to be miserable,
Okay.
Because that's Gargamel. That's what he does.
That's true.
So.
Okay.
But Papa Smurf is hung like a horse. Yeah. Fucking baby arm holding an apple.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, definitely. So as previously stated, we are revisiting Buffy the Vampire Slayer Season 4, Episode 9, our 65th episode of the series overall, Something Blue. Our episode director this week is Nick Mark, and our episode credited writer is Tracy Forbes. Our original air date was November 30th, 1999 on the now-defunct WB network. Our Nielsen rating was 3.7 million households when it first aired, ranking it 94th out of the 141 network primetime shows for the week, and second out of the 15 primetime shows airing on the WB for the week. Our regular cast, as always, includes Sarah Michelle Gellar as Buffy, Nicholas Brendan as Xander, Allison Hannigan as Willow, Anthony Stewart Head as Giles, and James Marsters as Spike. Our guest stars this week include Mark Blucas as Riley, Emma Caulfield as Anya, Elizabeth Ann Allen as Amy, and Andy Umberger as DeHoffrin. Our episode synopsis this week reads, when a spell cast by Willow goes awry, Buffy vows to marry Spike, Giles loses his sight, and Xander attracts an overabundance of demons.
Well, damn, that's a little givey away, isn't it?
It is pretty givey away.
Mine is, one of Willow's spells causes her statements to become reality, with consequences both entertaining and life-threatening. Which I think is a little less give it away.
It is less give it away, and but still good.
Give it away now.
I like how we're both on the same page.
We're both old fucks.
We are both very old. Anyone like under 30 right now is like, what the fuck was that?
Yeah, they're probably just like, these guys, they just come up with stupid words and they put them together.
Right. So we open this week's episode with Willow still reeling from Oz's leaving, sneaking into his bedroom at night. And
which I didn't understand. Is this a dorm room? Is this his former dorm room? I don't. Yeah, it's gotta be.
Yeah.
Okay. So how is she getting into the male dorms, and why is there no one in this dorm room yet? And it's still just like he just left yesterday.
That's a good question.
Yeah.
I really don't know. But I did think about that because presumably, like, I would imagine there's like a wait list for empty dorms. You would think.
You would, unless UC Sunnydale is the biggest piece of shit college that there is, and no one wants to go there.
Just no one wants to go.
Yeah, they're just like, first of all, okay, I have to go here for a semester for money purposes, but I'll be damned if I'm living in their shitty dorm rooms.
Right, right. People are like, I don't know if you've heard about Sunnydale, but there's some weird shit that goes on there.
Yeah, they're literally built on. Never mind. Well, you'll find out.
Right. There is fuck all happening over there. I heard one time the adults all got high on some kind of weird candy. Like, what the fuck is that about?
Yeah, what the fuck, dude? Stay away from that town.
Apparently, last year, the mayor turned into a giant fucking snake, and they had to blow up the high school. I don't know if that's true or not, but that's what I fucking heard.
I heard he ate the principal.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
What the fuck? There's no
I'm
high
not
school
going to.
or principal.
I'm not going to UC Sunnydale. Fuck that. I'll go to community college.
Fucking A.
She proceeds to curl up on Oz's bed and cry herself to sleep.
Like a little bitch.
Like a little bitch. Jesus Christ, Willow. Get over it.
Cry me a fucking river.
Right?
Oh, really though, doesn't it seem like I know it hasn't been in actual chronological time here, episode wise, but it seems like it's been a long time since he left. And
it does. And this is actually one of my few complaints about the episode, which we'll get into as we go along with it. But it does boil down to how like her supposed friends are treating her in this episode. But we'll talk more about it as we go along, probably once we wrap up. But anyway, and then we cut to the next day, and Buffy is talking to Riley, and he invites her to a picnic, but not before accidentally revealing that he thought he had already invited her to a picnic because he had been practicing the conversation in his head so much. He no longer remembered if it had been a real conversation or a practice conversation.
Right.
She agrees, looking up at his 7'5" face, all doe-eyed. She is very short compared to this dude. I know I've noticed it in previous episodes, but in this episode, like in this particular scene, like it was really obvious. I was like, dude, she's short, or he is very tall. One of the two, or a combination of both.
It's just something else that I never liked about Riley. It's just
because he's taller than you.
Because he's taller than me, and makes me cry. No, I don't know. It just never. I've said this a million times. I'll say it a million times more during this season, I'm sure, but there's nothing. I get nothing from him. I get no on-screen chemistry between them. It's just like a big nothing burger there. And physically they don't look like a good couple. They don't come off the screen as a good couple. And, I don't know.
We might have some differing opinions about Riley once we wrap up this episode.
Yeah, I'll never like Riley, ever. I don't care if he saved Buffy from the ultimate doom and say I'd be like, I fucking hate this guy. Can we please get rid of him? Please. It's not the character, unfortunately. It's
the actor.
I don't care for the actor. I never did. And I'm not saying he's not a good actor. I'm just saying in this role, in this show, in this instance, he does nothing for me. I'm like,
I've literally never seen him in anything else.
Neither have I. And
like, I know he's been in other things.
Yeah.
It's just nothing I watch.
Yeah. And I'm still not saying he's not a good actor. It's just,
right.
It does nothing. I'm just, nothing.
Yeah. So then we cut to later that night, and Willow and Buffy appear to be patrolling through one of Sunnydale's many cemeteries, and they're talking about a possible relationship with Riley and the consequences that could arise of that or any relationship. And Buffy kind of wonders if the passion in her past relationships, particularly with Angel, comes from all the pain and fighting. And as she's wondering this out loud, a vampire appears and gets ready to attack. And Buffy just kind of casually, nonchalantly, absent-mindedly stakes him, and he dusts. And she wonders where she might get that from.
Yeah. Wonder where that comes from.
And that is our cold open.
It is our cold, and that's a frosty cold open.
It was, yes.
I had to put my winter coat on.
Brr
skis. So we cut back, and what do we have but Spike chained up in Giles' bathtub? And
them making Spike live in the bathtub is fucking hilarious to me.
Yeah, because in case I don't mention it, because a little bit later on, Giles is talking to someone, and he's like, I'd really like to get him out of my bathtub. I really need to take a shower. And I'm like, wait a minute, you haven't been showering this whole time? Like, there has to be a better place to put this motherfucker, you know? And besides that, really quick, this is an apartment, correct?
Yeah, of some sort, yeah.
Wouldn't that really suck if like maintenance came in to do a maintenance check or whatever, and they find that this guy they're renting to has this other dude chained up in his fucking bathtub and shit? Like, how fucked up would that be? That could be a whole nother episode. Okay. So Buffy's
that would be, just to sidetrack a bit, I would have loved to see just an entire episode of just like Spike and Giles.
Yeah.
Because like Buffy and everybody else aren't around all the fucking time. Like there has to be like significant amount of time where it's just Spike and Giles chilling there in Giles's fucking apartment.
Right. And it's like, and then knock, 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 maintenance. And they walk in and just here to change your furnace filter. Holy fuck. There's a guy chained up in your bathtub. And then Giles is forced to kill that guy.
Right. Giles
he has to snap his neck.
He's either A, forced to murder that maintenance guy, or B, he quickly throws on like the Frankenfurter outfit and tries to convince this guy that it's some sort of weird sex play thing.
Yeah, I'm thinking it's a murder.
Probably a murder.
So then the rest of the episode, he and Spike are out at the store shopping. They're getting acid. And, the right kind of plastic tub to put him in that the acid won't eat through it. And they got to dispose of this fucking guy,
Right. Yeah.
Anyway, so Buffy's trying to get information out of him, and she's feeding him pig's blood out of was that a coffee cup with a straw in it? I think.
Yeah,
coffee cup with a straw in it. But he's not giving up much. And Willow suggests a truth spell, which will make him talk and, quit being evasive Spike. And so she's like, look, I'll gather all the ingredients. It's not a difficult spell. I'll get the stuff from the magic shop, and then I'll be back in the morning. And I think that's when Giles is like, yes, please. I'd like to take a shower soon. And so after she leaves, Buffy and Giles are talking about how well Willow's coping since Oz left. And this is the first part where I was like, wait, what? Has it even been mentioned in the last couple of episodes? And then and then all of a sudden in this one, it's like, it's like the most important thing ever,
Right. Yeah. Because I don't think it came up in, Pangs.
No, at least if it did, it was very passing and fleeting. It wasn't anything, you know what I mean? It wasn't like, they didn't make a big deal out of it.
Right. And then what was right before Pangs?
Welcome to the Hellmouth, I think.
No, the Initiative.
Yeah, the Initiative. I'm almost sure it wasn't mentioned then.
Yeah. It's been a few episodes since they've really talked about it.
Yeah, and it's just all of a sudden it's very important again, and I'm like, oh, this is something we've talked about before that I feel like Joss Whedon has known for, which is kind of dragging shit out sometimes, like unnecessarily. Sure. Like you thinking something is buried and done. And he's like, oh, no. We're going to beat this fucking dead horse. We're going to revive it, and we're going to beat it again. Right. Right. And he's kind of known for that. So,
yeah.
Anyway, Spike pops up, and he's like, she's not all right. She's barely holding on. And they're like, what? And well, this proves right, because Willow has gone back.
Hold on. I want to talk a little bit more about the Spike in the bathroom scene, In particular, the scene where Buffy is taunting him.
Yeah.
With her neck.
Yeah.
Am I the only one that got a little chubbed up?
It moved a little for me.
Oh, okay. I just wanted to make sure.
I was like, whoa, she can be a hot little tamale.
I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
There's something happening.
At one point, Spike looks up to Giles and he's like, can you leave for a minute?
Right. He's like, I'm gonna need you to leave, please.
I'm about to get some. And I'm gonna yeah, Spike's words prove true because we cut to Willow as back at Oz's old place, and this time it's been completely stripped bare. There's no stuff left. And a little bit later on, she's crying and telling Buffy that Oz must have had his stuff sent to him, and it's crushed her last hopes that he might actually come back. And I've got questions.
I want to say real quick, we've talked about this before, and I know you're not much on feelings or and whatnot, but seeing Allison crying in that scene,
yeah, it makes you want to cry all the time. That's how good she is at it.
I literally was like almost in tears myself.
Yeah, every time I
see
see her
so
cry,
good.
she's like the best crier ever.
Yeah,
and every time I see her cry in an episode, you're like,
her and SMG.
Yeah.
But there's something in particular about Allison turning on the waterworks and scenes like that's like truly heartbreaking.
Yeah. But here's my question. Who has Oz contacted to send his things? First of all. And where did they send them to?
She says Devin.
Oh, his singer?
Lead singer. Yeah.
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 Devin didn't seem like the sharpest tool in the shed. I don't know if I trust Devin with my shit. And where's he gonna forward it to,
But I mean, who else is Oz gonna reach out to?
It would have been fucking awesome if it had been Xander. And then that caused like a rift between him and Willow, and he's like, listen, the guy fucking asked me, I was just trying to help him out. And she's like, you fucking stay out of my goddamn relationships. And then they start fucking fighting, and she snaps his neck.
Yeah, that would have been cool. Yeah,
that would have been awesome.
I agree with that. Yeah. And Xander's just like, he's my friend. I was just trying to do him a solid.
And she's like, he wasn't your friend. You fucked around with his girlfriend, me, and so fuck you. And then she snaps his neck.
Right. Yeah.
We can be done with Xander.
Thank God.
So the next day, Buffy and Riley arrange that date. And when Willow doesn't show up to perform the truth spell, Giles calls her. But gets no answer, of course. And boys and girls under 30 or 35, what he gets is called voicemail. That's where you can leave a voice message for someone that doesn't answer their phone. You can't just immediately text them and be like, WRYD. Yeah, he leaves her a message, and he's basically like, what the fuck? And Spike is screaming while he's on the phone. Spike is screaming from the bathroom about he wants the television turned on. And Giles is like, ignoring him basically, and he's like, I swear if you don't turn this television on. And Giles moves the phone, and he's like, what are you gonna do? Cuddle me or something like that?
I also want to briefly mention, and this was a scene where, I kind of alluded when we started this about our differing opinions on Riley, over the course of this episode. Maybe not over the course of his time on the show.
Yeah.
But so there was a brief scene in there where Riley and Buffy are on their picnic at Ruggs Field. And Willow just kind of shows up absentmindedly.
Oh,
and she's all like,
I skipped that?
Yeah.
I thought that was in the next. Okay, go ahead.
And she's all like, I'm interrupting, I'll leave. And she's turns to leave, and her fucking best friend, Buffy, doesn't say shit to her. Riley fucking steps up and is like, you can join us if you want, it's fine. And I was like, dude, like, man, I remember hating Riley too, and I'm still not that fond of him, but he's had more like, Dan, God damn it, this dude's all right moments so far this season than he has had like, oh my God, I can't stand this prick.
Yeah, but don't forget, this has been well established. Buffy is a horrible friend.
Oh yeah.
So it's nothing new. It's not like shocking or like Buffy is a known horrible friend.
Right.
Like
It even seemed
you're either mistreated or you're murdered.
Right. It even seemed to me in that scene that even Riley like kind of gave Buffy a look like, why the fuck are you just letting her walk away? Like, she's clearly in distress.
Well, I get the feeling as this episode goes along, and I'm kind of with them. The Scoobs are all kind of tired of this. They're all kind of like, oh my God, girl, I get it's not like you guys had been together for like 10 years. You had a couple of kids and a mortgage, and like this fucking guy like left you high and dry to go like live with a stripper named fucking, Candy or something. It's like they were together for like 8 months,
It was more than 8 months. And that's kind of what
you know what I mean.
And since you brought it up, I'll get into it now. Even I was going to save it for later, but the way everyone treats her in this episode regarding the breakup with Oz, in my opinion, is just complete and utter bullshit on their parts. They're all being awful friends. This wasn't like you said, like this wasn't like an 8-month relationship that ended. This was like almost 4 years.
What?
Yeah.
This is season 4.
Okay, and they've been together since season 2.
Okay, then maybe.
So 3 years at least.
No.
Yeah.
No, I think your fucking timing and timeline is very fucked up.
No, how do you figure?
Because what episode of season 2 did they get together? Was it even season 2? I think it was season 3.
It was not season 3.
Well, if it was season 2, it was late season 2. And this is early season 4. So it's been like a year tops.
It has not been a year.
Yeah.
You keep going. I should have done this
ladies
before.
Ladies and gentlemen.
No, you keep going. I'm going to look it up.
But let me just respond to what you were saying, though, about like, I disagree. I think that I would be feeling like the Scoobs are feeling, and they would all just be like, all of them would be they're just fucking worn out with this shit, because like in my mind, like I'm thinking, okay, behind the scene, like shit we don't see on camera and on film, like in the actual Buffy verse, like who knows how long this has been going on, they're all just kind of like, they want to be supportive and helpful and all that stuff. They do, but I think in a small way, they're all kind of worn the fuck out with this shit. And they're just like, can you just either shit or get off the pot, Willow? No, I don't know. I can see where they're coming from. Is all I'm saying. Anyway, the next day, Buffy and well, I screwed that right up, didn't I? That night at the Bronze, Willow has become a drunkard. As far as we know, Willow's never drank, but now she's at the Bronze, living it up, and the Scoobs are like, "What's going on with her?" And she's a drinking, and I'm like, "Oh, is this an ABC after school special episode? Or are we gonna have this, never drown your sorrows with beer?" She's had with Willow, she's probably had like one beer and it's destroyed her. She's completely shit-faced, and she insults Xander, and Buffy's like, oh, okay, we're going home. And Willow's all like, I don't fucking want to. And Buffy's like, I don't give a fuck, bitch. I'm the goddamn Slayer. I'll pick your skinny ass up and carry you back. Anyway, so she gets her to go back, and they're in bed that night. She and Buffy, because they sleep together. You see, no, they're both asleep. Well, Buffy's asleep, and Willow's not. She's like laying there, and you can tell she's thinking about something. And then she gets up and she gets in her little trunk of witchcraft and pulls out some shit. And then we cut to the apparently the shared dorm bathroom where she is doing a spell.
Okay,
and
I'm going to interrupt real quick.
No, you're not. Let me finish. I'm almost done. Hang on.
Okay.
She's doing this spell, and where she says, basically she's like, let my, how does it, I forget how it's worded, but let my will be granted, blah, blah, blah. Like what she says will come true. She wants her pain to go away. And that ends that scene. Now you may go, sir.
Willow and Oz's first date was to Buffy's 17th birthday party in Surprise, which was season 2, episode 13. So they've been together.
It's not even been 2 seasons.
So it's been close to 2 years.
Okay. Well, fine. I'll give you that. But let's not act like, again, it's not like, fuck, dude. I'm just saying. Enough already. Either get over it, or I don't know. Like, here's an idea. Become a lesbian.
But here's the thing, too. And this is the problem, is that in shows like this, you're never given like a clear timeline of events, so to speak.
Yeah.
So we really don't know how long it's been.
Well, here's another thing. Now that I think about it, their first date was to Buffy's 17th birthday, right? Buffy's only 18 now.
No.
Yeah.
No, she's got to be at least 19.
Did we ever? This is what drives me crazy. Did we ever have an 18th birthday?
Yes, Helpless. Helpless was Buffy's 18th birthday,
which was
season 3, episode 12. So she's got to be coming up on her 19th birthday if she isn't 19 already. Well, her birthday's in January, and we're clearly past Thanksgiving at this point. She's got to be at least 19.
We can figure it like this. Season 2, episode 13 was the 17th birthday party. Season 3, 13 was 18. Season 4, 13 would be 19. So she's not 19 yet.
No, because her birthday's in January, and we're clearly past Thanksgiving already, because last week was the Thanksgiving episode.
And the following January, she'll be 19.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, it's counting. It's counting. I know it's hard, but so so let's say a year and a half to a year and 3/4 they've been together. Like, it's not like they're like they've been married for fucking 12 years and have a mortgage and kids, and it's like,
but it was her first love. It was like her first real relationship. Like, that's hard on some people, Jeremy.
Okay. I mean, that's why I don't deal with feelings. They're bullshit. Don't
you remember your first breakup?
Nope.
Jeremy, have you ever been with a girl?
Many, trust me. I had my first girlfriend in elementary school, but do I remember my first? No, I don't.
I'm not talking about first girl. I'm talking about first, because my first girlfriend wasn't my first, the first girl I really thought I was, head over heels in love with.
I don't actually think I've ever had a true love. to be honest with you.
Okay.
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't think I ever met the one. So it's just been a lot of hitting it and quitting it, if you know what I'm saying. No, there's been a lot of
You're such a pimp. You're such a pimp.
No. There's been a lot of dating and relationships and shit, but I don't think I ever knew the one. Like I was never I don't think I was ever, in love. So maybe I'm just dead inside,
It's possible.
Willow performs okay. But then Willow heads back and into the dorm, and she's trying some verbal commands, and none of it's working. So she's like, "Well, fuck! I fucked that spell up." At which point, she gets a knock on the door, and it's Giles, and he's like, "What the French fried fuck? You were supposed to come to my house and do this goddamn spell so I can get this goddamn vampire out of my goddamn bathtub because my balls smell like the inside of a fake fucking leg and they need to be fucking rinsed off." And she's like,
what he neglected to mention was that Olivia from like the beginning of the season is due to come back.
Yeah,
like
he's
any
like,
day
I've
now.
got to wash my dick and balls.
Right, and I've got to get
nothing.
Right, and I've got to get this vampire out of my bathtub. Otherwise, I'm not going to get to have any fucking shower sex.
Right, exactly. Which, man, that's a small shower. Okay. Anyway,
I want to see Giles have sex in it too.
I know you do. You want to have sex in it with Giles.
It's 2023. There's nothing wrong with that.
No, of course not. Except the fact that he doesn't know anything about it.
Yeah, that's probably not right.
It's probably wrong. Yeah.
I probably shouldn't just surprise him with it.
Yeah, like, hey, and you just drop your robe, and he's literally like, he's in the sink, and he's like fucking coloring his beard and shit, and you're like, and you just show up behind him and drop your robe, and you're just,
I'm like, haha, surprise shower butt sex.
And he's like, and yeah, he dies. Yeah, so Giles is having a shit fit that she hasn't shown up to do this and do the spell. And then, she's mad. She gets mad and says, she's clearly in a fragile state, and she feels like he is not, I don't know what the word, like, I guess not being fucking butthurt enough for her. I don't know. I just want to be like, fucking grow up, but whatever. And it's like, listen, you have a responsibility. I'm sorry. And he says that in this, you made a fucking a date to do this, to help out. You can't just be like, oh, well, but I'm sad. It's like, fuck off. You're in the scoobs. I don't know, but maybe I'm just a heartless prick. I don't know. I'm not trying to be. That's just the way I feel. But, and then they're arguing back and forth, and she's like, well, you can't see anything. And her eyes flash when she says that. And he kind of stutter, and he's like, what the fuck? And he like blinks a few times, and he takes his glasses off, and he's like, what the fuck? He's like, I'm going to go. And he literally just kind of goes in the middle of this.
He just fucking
and yeah, he's walking out through the halls and bumps into somebody and yada yada. So it's like, oh no, I think Willow has the ability to make things happen when she says it.
Here's another small issue I have with the episode,
Okay.
is that I find it highly unlikely that Willow saying, well, you just can't see anything, or whatever it is exactly she says, and then Giles suddenly going blind, that Giles wasn't like, there's a connection. You know what I'm saying?
Well, not only that, I thought you were going to say the point that I thought in my head the whole time, which was, why is it everything else she says like comes true, like happens immediately, but with Giles and you can't see anything, it takes like another day and a half before he actually goes blind.
Oh, before he's like completely blind.
Yeah, and I'm
Yeah,
like,
that too.
yeah, so.
But yeah, more so for me is just the idea that like she says this, and then all of a sudden he's having trouble seeing, and he's not like, wait a minute, I think there might be a connection.
And wait,
right?
Did you just do a fucking spell today?
Right.
Yeah. So, yeah, we're back at his apartment, and he's gonna try to do the spell by himself because he wants to take a fucking shower, but he's having trouble reading. His eyesight is progressively getting worse, and Spike is like, "Yo, I don't want you doing magic on me if you can't even fucking read." And at one point he drops the key, kind of like dropping the soap, and when he does, Spike immediately pulls his pants down. And he's like,
and Spike's like,
surprise butt sex. You bend over and pick that soap up. No, so Spike, sticks his foot out and pulls the key in, and pulls it up and is able to unhook himself while Giles is trying to figure out what's going on with his eyes and shit. And then Spike says, "Ta-da! Surprise butt sex!" And he runs in and bam, and then grabs his coat and leaves. No, he does though. He grabs his coat and bails. And Giles was like, "Fuck." So while talking to, next scene is one of Buffy or one of Willow's casual comments. Okay, Buffy and Willow are bullshitting in their dorm room, and they have their backs turned, and remember Amy the rat is that Willow still has is on her bed, and she says something like, she's talking about Amy. She's like, I fucked the spell up. Amy could have done it because she's got powers I don't even know about or could never have, and she's like, how does she say it? She says something like, because Amy could fix herself right away. Or something.
Yeah, she says something about like I can't even change her back from being a rat into a real girl or something like that.
Yeah. And then she briefly, poof, she becomes Amy again, and she's like, and then she says something like, I don't know how she says it.
And then she says something to the effect of, but no, she's still just a rat or something like that.
Yeah, she's still just a rat, and then poof, she becomes a rat again. And so yeah.
Can you imagine being this actress and like you get a call from
back for one scene next week,
right?
And also can you naked.
And they're like, yeah, we want to bring you back. Are you available for like half an hour of shooting?
Yeah, and also
for 5 seconds of screen time.
You won't need any clothes. How are you at cutting your nipples with your arms? So she's back and then gone again. So Giles calls, tells Buffy what the fuck's up with Spike. Now here's the thing where I feel like Willow is really being not a bitch or anything like that, but I don't even know what term to use, but like Spike has escaped and blah, blah, and she knows this, but she's like to Buffy, she's just like, "What, you're just gonna leave me?" And Buffy's like, "I gotta go. You know how this works. I gotta go fucking find Spike. He's a goddamn vampire. Like, I gotta go find this piece of shit. You know this, And Willow's like, "Well, you should just stay here and we'll play fucking board games or something." And I'm just like, what Willow is this been all episode? This is not Willow. Like, it's annoying, but finally Buffy's just like, "Look, bitch, I got to go. Like, if you need somebody to talk to, maybe go down to the fucking, I'm sure the college has a therapy department. You can go down there and, get in touch with your feelings. I don't know. But so Buffy fucks off, and she like immediately finds Spike immediately because he is right out in the courtyard of her dorm, and she's like, that was easy," and Spike is having a shit fit because he's like, "It was right fucking here," and she's like, "What was right here?"
I'm sorry. Did you mention that the reason she found Spike so easy was because Willow said that she hopes Buffy finds him quick?
Oh, that's right. She did. Yeah, right as Buffy left, she's like, "Well, I hope she finds him quick." Yeah, you're right. You're right. And he's like, "I know he's right here." And anyway, he's like, "This is where I came out of the ground, and from when they had me underground, and the initiative, and blah blah blah." And he starts digging at the ground, and she's like, "There's nothing there, you fucking freak." And she takes him back to Giles' apartment, and at this point, Willow goes to Xander's, right? Yeah, she goes to Xander's.
Yeah.
I was going to say his place, but it's his basement. And they're talking, and at one point, Willow kind of sarcastically says, "Well, Buffy and Spike should get married." And we cut back to Giles' apartment, and Spike has proposed to Buffy. She accepts, and they're getting married, and Giles is like, "What the fuck?" And yeah, so why don't you pick us up from there, James?
So we cut back to Xander's basement, and he's still trying to console Willow, and
she's still being a bitch, because this is the second time she's been a real bitch to Xander. She was really mean to him at the fucking bronze, and then she's mean as fuck to him. It's like, listen, girl, you need to get some fucking help, because you're letting this shit turn you into a real fucking cunt.
That is something I wanted to mention, and I forgot it at the time, but I'm glad you brought it up. Is how mean she was to Xander at the bronze, like to the point where I forget exactly what she says to him, but like he doesn't
living in a basement.
Oh, right. But like he doesn't even respond. Like he just looks incredibly hurt and leaves.
Yeah, because that's his best friend from preschool.
Right. Right. He's trying to reassure that she'll feel better over time and she'll meet somebody else, and instead of like accepting or trying to accept that he's trying to be helpful, she proceeds to list all of his like relationships and
how terrible they were, and
how terrible they were, and she's like, you're a demon magnet. And then we cut back to Buffy.
So again, like her being a major fucking bitch,
right? Right.
And hurtful, and I don't. I'm just saying, dude. This
listen,
not like Willow in this episode.
And like, listen, no love lost towards Xander. Like, obviously,
fuck Xander.
But like you said, like this is your best friend since like you were fucking kids. And like I get that she's hurt over the breakup, and like I'm obviously more willing to cut slack for that than like you are, but at the same time, like that's no reason to be like just this complete and utter cunt to your literal best friend
from preschool. Like, right. They were 5 when they met. You know,
I'm gonna go out. It's like I could even understand if she was being kind of a cunt towards Buffy, because Buffy's an awful friend.
Because Buffy, but Xander, if we're being honest, has never been a bad. I mean, other than the cheating thing, he's never been like, he's always been his best self towards Willow and with Willow,
right?
Because that's his best friend.
Realistically, anytime he hasn't been like a good friend towards any of them, It's been when he's been like under possession or spell or something, you
Right.
know?
Right.
But yeah, like credit where credit is due. He's been a really good friend to them.
Yeah. And it's like,
So
well, yeah, that's what I'm saying, dude. I hate the Willow in this episode.
yeah.
It's not my Willow.
Um, so we come back to Giles's place, and Buffy and Spike are all kissing and cuddling and snugly together, and they're making plans for the wedding. And Giles calls Willow to try and get help, and then reveals that he has now gone totally blind.
Yeah.
At which point, I liked this, and I think it kind of ties into what you said at the beginning about how we kind of start to establish like Spike's new role in everything. Is that almost immediately when Giles reveals that he's gone blind, Spike goes to his books and he's like, you're gonna need a basic reversal spell. And Giles is like, he's confused, and he's like, you're gonna help me? And Spike's like, well, you're practically like my father-in-law at the,
Yeah.
and like, I realize it's the spell, but it's also a little bit of like,
it's a reveal of who Spike is becoming.
right, like it's foreshadowing to an
It
extent.
is. Yeah.
So yeah, like I really liked that scene. So Buffy ends up at the magic shop to get supplies to undo the spell. And she runs into Riley outside of the bridal shop. And she tells him about the wedding, and he's understandably like confused and upset. And like, say what you want about Riley or even Mark Blucas and his acting, but this was a good scene. Like, this was a funny scene, and Blucas was good in this scene. I'm sorry.
Well, again, like I said earlier, I'm not.
That's true. You haven't knocked his acting. That's true.
No.
I just
don't feel like he fit this show and this character. I just don't.
Right. But this was a hysterical scene between the two of them. So, we cut back to Xander's basement, and he and Anya are about to get groiny with it.
He is in chains at this point, full chains.
Yeah, full chains.
Nipple clamps on, dictate.
Right, she's wearing a gimp outfit.
But he has the mask on.
I will say, and this is new from last week's episode, and I hate to be this way, but Emma Caulfield's new haircut in this episode is not doing her any favors.
Is this where she cut it real short? I can't remember.
Yes.
Yeah, it's cut real short now. I can't really. I'm not going to comment because I can't really remember. I don't remember it. I don't remember fixating on it like you do, but you are a bitch after all.
Wow.
No,
anyway.
I don't. I won't comment. I'll look at it closer for the next episode, and I'll say I'll either agree or say that you're a bitch.
You already said I'm a bitch. So. You already said it. So Xander and Anya are about to get groiny with it, and they are attacked by various demons breaking into.
And that first one's makeup was just not good. It looked like they just straight up put a guy in like some black clothes and like one of those spirit Halloween masks.
I'm sure they did it on the cheap.
Yeah.
So they end up rushing off to Giles's place, and Xander sees Buffy and Spike canoodling and whatnot, and they reveal the engagement. And it's, like, you got to give it to Nicholas Brendan, honestly. Like, the dude might be a piece of shit in real life. Not might be, is a piece of shit in real life. And Xander as a character overall might be like
a piece of
shit character.
Yeah.
But in this moment, when like they reveal the engagement and he's like, how? What? How?
Yeah, he goes, no, I thought he was reverse. I thought he goes, what? How? What?
No, I think he says how twice, but I could be wrong.
Okay.
But anyway.
Right. But
and then Giles...
Make no mistake, Nicholas Brendan is for comedic timing and everything. He is fantastic. He always has been.
And then Giles is like, 3 very good questions.
Yeah, he goes 3 very good questions. He's laying there with like a cloth over his eyes. And
yeah.
So,
Xander, of all fucking people, puts the pieces together and realizes that everything Willow is saying is coming true. And at that point, we cut to D'Hoffryn, who is the demon that was responsible for turning Anya into a vengeance demon, appear and takes Willow through a portal into his demon dimension. We cut to the gang back at the dorm room, and Anya recognizes the remains of the portal. And we cut to Anya guiding the rest of the gang to a mausoleum. And what's happening there?
There's an orgy going on there.
They are fucking.
Okay. So there's not. They're hoping to, they know what's going on, basically, that D'Hoffryn's wanting to turn Willow into a demon. And, so in the several demons are attacking, and they're they slam the mausoleum door shut. And they're trying to keep it shut, and demons are because again, Xander is a demon magnet. So they're coming in windows, doors, and a big fucking fight erupts, and everybody's fighting, except Spike because of the chip in his head.
But were they kung fu fighting?
Everybody was kung
fu fighting.
Oh, it was fast as lightning.
Sorry, folks.
At one point, Spike gets yeeted 6 miles across the room or something on top of his fucking head, and Buffy's like, "Oh, Spiky baby," and she gets on top of him, and in the middle of this huge fight that's going, and they're just like dry humping and going at it.
Yes.
And they're in demon land. Willow turns down the offer to become a vengeance demon, and D'Hoffryn's like, "Okay, well, here's my talisman. If you ever want to talk, give me a call." And he just sends her back to, and she appears in the mausoleum. And
this is slight spoilers for the rest of the series. This isn't the last time we're going to see D'Hoffryn.
No, I love D'Hoffryn.
I love D'Hoffryn too, because every time we see him, and this sets the precedent, he is like the most even keel, like amicable fucking demon ever.
He's like, "Is that your final decision?" And she's like, "Yes." And he's like, "Okay, well, here's my talisman. If you ever want to talk, give me a call."
Right. He's just like, you think something terrible is gonna happen, and he's just like, "Oh, all right, okay,
all right,
that's cool.
That's your call, no problem." So,
and he's like that in every subsequent appearance, and I love it.
Yeah. That's why I like him. So Willow reappears and she breaks the spell. The demons start disappearing, at which point Buffy and Spike realize what they've been doing, and they are both disgusted. But are they?
Are they? Are
Deep
they?
down inside, are they disgusted?
Are they?
First of all, why would Spike be disgusted? If he should have been like, yeah.
Right. Like,
Because that would
don't
have
get
pissed Buffy off even more, you know?
right. If Spike had been like,
Yeah, he should have been like, hey,
mhm.
baby, why don't you come back with me to my lair?
Right.
But yeah, they're both grossed out. And we cut back to Giles' apartment, which seems like the next day. There's no confirmation of that, but it seems like it's the next day. And Willow's being very apologetic for how she's acted and for, of course, the spell that she didn't realize was going on. And she's making shitloads of cookies and giving everyone cookies. Spike wants a cookie at one point, but they're all like, fuck you. And then he says something smart-assed to Willow, and she just stuffs a cookie in his mouth.
Yeah.
And,
which he
like,
then...
You could have stuffed your cookie in my mouth.
Right.
You know?
Which, tell me this makes any sense. So he actually says something smart to Buffy, and it causes Buffy to storm off. And that's when Willow shoves the cookie in his mouth. Yeah. And Willow goes to check on Buffy because Willow is a much better friend than Buffy fucking is.
Yeah.
Willow goes to check on Buffy, and as Willow's walking away, Spike, who is tied to the chair, reaches up and takes the cookie out of his mouth. Why is Spike tied to the chair if you're going to leave his hands untied?
Well, it's one of those cartoon tropes where he's like wrapped around the upper arms in the chair, but he's still got this kind of movement with his hands, you know? So, but yeah, I agree. At this point, why even tie the fucking guy up and keep him? You know he can't hurt anybody, that he's a fucking limp dick.
Right. At worst, he's just going to...
He has to stay with you or he can't even eat.
Right. At worst, he's going to leave.
Yeah, I'm like, oh, go leave
and do what?
And you'll die.
Right.
Because no one will be there to feed you fucking pig's blood.
Right.
So, yeah. But anyway.
Which is another thing, like, he doesn't need them to feed him pig blood. He can go to a fucking butcher shop himself or a meat pack like fucking Angel was doing.
But here's the thing. It seems like Spike doesn't have any fucking money. So the way he normally operates is to just take shit, beat a motherfucker to death and take it. Well, he can't do that.
That's true. That's
true. You know, if the butcher was like, hey, fuck you, and beat him up, he couldn't even defend himself. He'd just get beaten. So
right. That's true.
You know,
that's true.
I don't know. So the next day, Buffy and Riley are walking. They're having a walkabout. And she manages to convince him that the whole wedding thing was just a joke. That she was just fucking with him. And wanted to kind of see what his reaction. He was like, wow, that was a really elaborate, fucking joke. But he does buy it.
He's like, you're insane.
Yeah. And she's like, a little bit.
And he's like, I'm into it.
Yeah. And that is our episode.
Jeremy, would you like to guess our body count this week?
Okay. I am going to go. Oh, are we counting demons?
Yes.
3.
I only counted 2.
Okay. I can live with it.
Okay. We've got the vampire that Buffy staked at the beginning, and then the demon that Xander drowned.
See, I didn't know. Yeah, I didn't know if I missed any, like
in the mausoleum.
Background. Yeah, like that might have got offed.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think so.
I don't think
so.
That's cool.
Our music this week, and I actually forgot to mention one of the bands when you talked about it, the Bronze. Our Bronze band this week, even though they weren't performing, the song that Willow was dancing to was All the Small Things by Blink-182.
Yes, I was. You know what? This is the first time I was ever going to bring up the Bronze and the Bronze band, and what I was like, holy shit, this is like the first big time act that's ever played, that they've ever heard. But then I thought back, 1999, I think this is when they were like pretty fucking new on the scene, at least nationally.
Right.
So they probably got the song for a song.
Probably. Joe 90 with Truth, Sue Willett, Nighttime Company, and series composer Christoph Beck with the Willow and Oz love theme, and of course our original score as always. Jeremy, will you please give me and our lovely viewers and listeners your final thoughts and tell us on a scale of 1 to 5, how many Tipsy Willows do you give this episode?
Well, after having revisited this episode with you here today, kind sir, I have decided to go with a 4.
4. Okay.
I don't even know where to start. There's no problems. I don't have any problems with any of the episode except the overall character arc of Willow in this episode. I hate it. It's so against type. Her, what she's. I don't like it. I don't like the fact that this has seemingly been. I'm not saying dealt with and moved on from, but that she had seemingly gotten past this point of it already, and then now we're back to regression, and so that takes a point away for me. Otherwise, it would have been a 5, but I can't because I love Willow so much, and this is just not Willow for me, and not because of emotions, because emotions are fine. It's just this particular situation I feel was just beaten to death, and it's like, why are we bringing this? Why do we need to bring this up? And it's losing a point. Otherwise, it's a 4. Otherwise, it's a stellar episode. It's a must watch, and I'll just leave it at that. James.
Yes.
How many chubs for Buffy's neck do you give this episode?
I am giving this episode 1 more chubs for Buffy's neck than you're giving this episode. I'm giving it a 5.
Okay.
I'm willing to look past some of those issues you mentioned, because we kind of talked about this before. The problem with shows like this is you're never given clear timelines.
True.
Or very rarely are they ever specifically like, it's been 7 months since or whatnot. So we don't know how long it's been since Oz left. It hasn't seemingly been addressed in the last few episodes. But we also don't know, like, how long has Willow been sneaking into Oz's dorm room and falling asleep on his bed at night? That kind of thing, or whatever. So I'm willing to cut it some leeway there. I also, I understand that everyone was starting to get frustrated with Willow's, moping about it. But they were all being complete, in my opinion, complete shitheads about it.
Not Xander.
Not Xander. At least. So here's the thing. Xander was the only one that was a shithead about it, but not to her face.
Yeah, to her face, he was very supportive and tried everything to be supportive, and she just shit in his mouth like diarrhea.
Right, and yet the two people who were kind of more like, Willow, you need to fucking get over this, we're tired of it, that being Buffy and unfortunately Giles, she wasn't like a complete cunt to, like she was Xander. Yeah. But overall, yeah, it's a 5 for me. It's
That's fair, because like I said, I could have easily done a 5, but I felt like to be true to myself and what I had said for the recap, I had to deduct a point,
And I will say that the biggest reason it gets a 5 from me is the writing itself.
Oh yeah, it's fantastic.
It's such a humorous episode.
Mm-hmm.
And it's very much, and we've said this several times, especially in the higher rated episodes, it's very much, the writing is very much what a Buffy fan expects a Buffy episode to be.
Yeah.
Especially a humorous episode like this.
Oh yeah.
So that alone, honestly, elevates it, in my opinion, to a 5. And we kind of talked about this. I like how it starts to reestablish certain dynamics within the group, namely Spike. I like this continuing evolution of Giles kind of trying to figure out still what his role in everything is. So I'm enjoying seeing that. That's something that's going to kind of come to a head in I think 2 more episodes, A New Man. But yeah, it's a 5. And it's ironic to an extent, because last week was a 5, this week is a 5. Next week's episode is Hush. I don't think I'm giving away the ghost here by saying, if anybody pays attention to how I score things or rate things, they're going to know, for me, spoiler alert, next week is a 5 again. Yeah. 3 5s in a row for what is arguably, amongst fans, the worst season of this series. Like, I don't know, man. I don't know. Every week I go into it and I'm like, I don't think this season is as bad as I remember it being.
Yeah. Well, I'll say this. I've looked ahead a little bit, and I was like, it's really, we're coming up, what are we, 2 episodes from our mid-season break. Right. It's really the second half of the season. As I was going through, I was like, oh yeah, oh god, yeah, it's really the second half of the season that for me at least, I don't know about you, that is the absolute shits. And
right.
And I guess maybe that has always colored my opinion of the season in general, is because I think the second half is so bad. And at least for me, I'm sure there are just as many people out there who loved it as there are people like me who hated it. Sure. But just for me, I'm like, oh God, can I make it through? Oh God. Oh, and I'm trying to cut myself like with a marker.
I haven't really looked ahead a whole lot, but
I just read synopses of, and I was like, oh yeah, that's one. Oh God, and it just kind of snowballed, and I was like, oh God, I'm gonna need to drink on this one.
But to put what you're saying into perspective, and honestly, after like being 9-10 episodes into this season so far, I'm kind of willing to reserve my judgment again now until we continue on. But it is ironic, should the back half of the season really take a downward spiral and tank, that's when it happens, considering in seasons past that tends to be when the ante really gets upped and you see a string of like really great episodes as we kind of cannonball to our ultimate story or whatever.
It doesn't happen in this season.
So we'll see.
This is the only season it doesn't happen in. And I'll just give you one word, and I'll leave you with that. Adam.
No, I know what's coming. I know what's coming.
It's a crescendo of shit, and it's the worst. Like you said, seasons 1, seasons 2, season 3, season 5, 6, and 7. Midway, you start fucking snowballing, and you start. I was like, oh shit, and then whoa, it's a huge orgasm at the end. Well, not this season, my friend. Not this season.
Right. And it's funny because I know what's coming. I know what's in store. And yet, because this first half of the season has exceeded expectations of what I remember it being, I'm kind of willing to reserve that on an episode by episode basis now going forward, if that makes sense.
Don't worry, there's plenty of time for disappointment.
So,
prepare to be disappointed.
But anyway, that's all I have for this week's episode. Jeremy.
Yes, sir.
How about if we switch it up a little bit and you tell everybody where we can be found on the interwebs?
BuffyRevisited.com. Okay. That's how easy that is. No, if you go to BuffyRevisited.com, you're gonna have access to all of our links for everything. It's gonna link you to everything. And if not that, on Facebook, I mean, brah.
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 So, yeah, you can just on Facebook, we'll link you to everything. We got a link tree on there. Yeah, it's not hard to find us. BuffyRevisited@gmail.com is our email address where you can send us porn, suggestions for porn.
Because let's not forget we have the OnlyFans
nipples.
Mm-hmm. And we've got the Patreon now.
Yeah.
Where up until this point, it's just me doing erotic stripteases for people in outfits of their choice. Right. If you send us your porn suggestions, Jeremy and I'll film it for you.
We will act them for. Listen, there's not a lot we won't do for the right price.
Right. And the right price is $2 a month to be a Patreon subscriber.
You would be surprised at how cheap you could buy us for.
100%. Yeah. 100%.
So we'll just leave it at that.
No more needs to be said, really.
No. So James, do you have anything you would like to say? Anything to wrap this episode up, or anything of that nature?
Nope. Goodbye.
Okay, later. No. Thank you for joining us this week, everybody. It was good to be back. Good to be doing our regular shtick again. Next week, we will be diving into Angel Season 1, Episode 9, Hero, because I can be your hero, baby.
I can be your hero, baby. That's it. That's all I'm doing.
Okay. Well, then, with all that being said, I've been one of your hosts. I'm Jeremy.
I'm your other host, James.
Ta-ta.